What's going on, guys? AJ Shulo here to give you guys another PrizePicks selection video. This time it's going to be for UFC 263. Going to get right down into the thick of things. But before we do that, I would like to let you guys all know that you could use my promo code AJ100 to receive a 100% instant deposit bonus for up to $100 on your PrizePicks deposit. In other words, you deposit $100, PrizePicks give you $100 additional dollars in addition to that, right? So you're getting $100 free dollars to play with. And so it's a great promotion that they have running. It's, again, free money. You're playing with house money for your first $100 or so. And it's just a great opportunity to play with a bankroll, learn what it's like, and just really embrace a daily fantasy game where you don't have to worry about competing against other players. It's just you versus a projection, as we'll get into. Simply that you don't have to worry about, having access to all these like different DFS resources like you do like for DraftKings and FanDuel. No. PrizePicks is just simply you versus a projection, and it's available in most states across the United States. So again, PrizePicks.com, promo code AJ100 gets you a 100% instant deposit bonus for up to $100. So it's a great opportunity that I'd like to let you guys know about. I really think that you would benefit from utilizing this. So with that said, it sounds all fine and good for me to give that promotion, but we want to talk about some picks here, right? So the last event, there was 4 that I really liked. This event, there's just 2, but I want to give you guys quality picks that I believe will come through. And I don't want to just give you guys picks just to give picks, right? I want to give you guys good picks, and that's what I'm going to do here. So it is 2 despite a big card, but these are 2 that I really feel like are going to come through. An option that you guys should know if you're not familiar with PrizePicks. So there's an option of power play and flex play. So basically with PrizePicks, you need at least, think of it like a parlay kind of, right? You need at least 2 legs to construct like a PrizePicks construction or a PrizePicks lineup, if you will. And you have 2 different options, right? You have the flex play, which means that only one of those 2 statistics have to come through. Like you select the prop and you select over or under. One of them has to come through, or in the case of power play, both of them have to come through for you to receive your payout. So flex, the payout is less, but again, you just need one of those legs to come through. And I always select flex, because with flex, if one of them comes through, it's double the money. And power play is obviously going to be more, but I don't like to get too greedy with it. And that's just how I roll, right? So you got the flex play, the power play option. So a lot of good things to work with, right? So, and it's just super, super simple. I got the website pulled up right here just so you guys can see firsthand what it's like. So we're on PrizePicks.com. We're on the MMA tab, right? And we're on this, there's the single stat DFS category, which you're on, and then there's 3 different subcategories within that. There's the fight time and the minutes, and it'll just list one fighter within the fight that it's referencing, guys. So in the case of Steven Peterson, it's saying Steven Peterson, but it's actually referring to the fight between him and Chase Hooper as a whole. Right, so we got the 12.5-minute time for this fight between Hooper and Ocho Peterson. We'll toggle through the other tabs here in a second, but that's the reference point here. So the fight time in minutes, it's going to give you an over-under. You check that box, and it's going to be available over to you here in the right-hand side, and you're just going to be able to, again, select the over, select the under, and then play with it from there, right? So we got that. So with the first selection, I do want to give out Peterson. I want that fight, the Peterson fight, that is, to go over 12.5 minutes. So select the over just for reference. And basically my reasoning here is they both excel, I think, as submission grapplers. Chase Hooper, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, brown belts. Peterson, same deal. Hooper also Pan Am, experienced in grappling. But I just think that even if this fight does hit the ground, I don't think there's going to be a submission here either way. Peterson seems very competent with his submissions. Matter of fact, when he gets taken to the ground against other opposition, he's the guy threatening from his back, right? And so when we got 2 guys that are competent submission grapplers. I think it's unlikely there's a finish, to be honest with you. I think they're both reasonably sound, and it's not like when these 2 guys get their opposition on the mat in the past, like that's it. It's just a quick tap. No, the opposition tends to last. In the case of David Tim, where he got finished with ground and pound, and I tend to think that they'll nullify each other a bit on the ground, right? Because if you have 2 competent submission grapplers, usually one guy doesn't really dominate on the ground unless if he's so much better than the other one, And I think that's what the case is here. I think they're relatively similar in terms of their submission grappling skill. And on top of that, I think there's a decent chance that Hooper doesn't even take Peterson down, because when we're talking about Chase Hooper, he's got a 7% takedown accuracy, and Peterson defense takedowns at 75%. Now that 75% is a little bit deceiving because going back on tape and watching Peterson defend takedowns from Martin Bravo, he did get taken down easily a couple times there. But with Hooper, he's a kid that just not a great offensive wrestler. 7% takedown defense, and he's not exactly going against guys that are great defensive wrestlers, right? Like Alex Caceres, historically 64% takedown defense, not tremendous, right? Daniel Tamor, no longer in the UFC, 60% takedown defense. Like, these are guys that just aren't really known for their defensive wrestling, and especially Peter Barrett, who Hooper struggled mightily. He was losing that fight. He was down 2-0. And Peter Barrett's a guy that defends takedowns that are at 66%. He was taken down 3 times by Yusuf Salal, who's not a great wrestler, taking down the Contender Series. So what I'm trying to say here is I think there's even a decent chance that this fight is upright. And I don't consider either guy a dangerous striker, especially not Hooper. They've both shown to be really tough and durable. Peterson's historically tough to put away. Hooper, same deal. Obviously, they both can be hurt. Peterson got hurt against Brandon Davis. Hooper got hurt against Alex Caceres. But I don't consider either guy like a huge, true one-shot knockout artist. Peterson's coming off a spinning back fist knockout against Martin Bravo, but the eye test tells otherwise. We could even look here. That was his only knockdown in the UFC. Just hasn't shown to be a big power puncher as Peterson. So again, basically the logic here is I think they'll be able to survive each other's attack on the feet and then be able to nullify the other on the ground, right? So that's my reasoning for going over the 12.5-minute mark here. The other play that I like is Movsar Evlaev actually under 69.5 significant strikes. And there's a few different reasons for this. So, and select under here for reference. So this is basically what I was talking about, right? So like, again, in theory, pretend your bankroll's, $100 or whatever, you could plug in 5. And then if I just select the flex play right here, like so, I just need one of these 2 to cash, and then that $5 will turn into $10. Or if I want to select power play, that $5 will turn into 15. So it's the difference between doubling and tripling your investment. And I don't want to get greedy, and I don't want to get cute either in theory, but at the same time, I could double my money when only one of them has to cash. And so to me, that the flex is just kind of a no-brainer, regardless of how confident I am in the selections, right? So anyway, getting back to my selection here on Evlaev under 69.5 significant strikes, right? So Evlaev's a guy who, if you look at his stats, right, he's got 4.7 significant strikes per minute, which is good again, and he has exceeded that threshold in his last 3 fights here. But I would argue Dawodu is far less hittable than all those other opponents that Evlaev was going up against. Dawodu is just a much better striker. He's got a Muay Thai background. As we can see here, he only absorbs 2.31 significant strikes per minute with 63% defense. And he hasn't been landed on at that rate in all 6 of his fights. Now, again, I understand the argument that, Evlaev's a better fighter than all these guys. You're not getting an argument from me there. But in terms of just how hittable Dawodu is, he's not the most hittable guy. Again, I think he's reasonably defensively sound. I don't think his chin is great. I mean, we saw that in his UFC debut against Danny Henry, excuse me. He got rocked and then basically club and subbed. But I think that it's going to be tough for Evlaev to land on him, say, as much as he did against Nick Lentz, who's proven to be hittable, as he's gotten older for sure. Same thing with Mike Grundy, just a guy that just doesn't have good striking defense. That was exposed yet again against Lando Venata, his last fight. And Enrique Barzola is a solid guy, no longer with the UFC, but it's not like he's, the most defensively sound guy either. He's also not as long as Dawodu or as good of a striker, in my humble opinion. So that's the reason for the selections, guys. So again, I think that the metrics check out. I think the eye test checks out. Dawodu, credentialed striker, sound defensively. I just don't think that Evlaev will be landing on him at that high of a rate, considering the numbers, considering the dynamic of the matchup. And even we got to even think about, right, if a quick finish happens, right, which is possible. I mean, you just the risk of hitting that under is just, or the chances of it hitting under go way up, right? Because if it's a quick finish, you just don't have the opportunity simply for the fight to play out. This statistic here, 69.5 significant strikes, it tells me that the website thinks the fight's going to go 15, and therefore that's how Evlaev is going to get his significant strikes accrued. But if we have a finish suddenly out of nowhere, early on in the fight goes, assuming it's not just some wild brawl, which I don't think this will be, then it'll cash, right? So again, I think just like the logic last week, I want to map out the various ways that these plays could cash, and I think we have a few different ones. So I like both of them. Again, I'm going to do the flex play. It's totally up to you what you want to do with your selections. But again, if there's, I guess, one takeaway from this video, I'd really like you guys to take advantage of that promo. Again, it's just $100 free bucks for 100% instant deposit bonus with the promo code AJ100. So I would like to thank you guys so much for this for watching this video. Appreciate it. Best of luck and have a nice day.